And today we're going to discuss Tezos Betanet. Dude, put that cigarette out. Now let's do this. I was gonna kind of do this update out on the porch there because it's such a nice day outside, but the mosquitoes started to have their way with me. I was like a big piece of meat for them or something, and so I think it's a better idea to kind of do this in here. So without further ado, let's get started. It's going to be a short video, and I'm just going to kind of highlight some of the things that have happened since beta, and then revisit what Tezos is kind of all about. Okay, so let's start over at coinmarketcap.com. As some of you know, Tezos immediately entered the top 20. All right, so almost as soon as coinmarketcap.com updated their servers and all their API stuff. So top 20, it's trading at about $1.80, which is a pretty decent price. However, it's really low volume. Let's look at the exchange that it's selling on. So it looks like Gate.io has approved deposits and withdrawals of XTZ, where HITBTC is selling IOUs, I think, still. And they have put out a statement that they will not be allowing withdrawals of XTZ until until the launch of the mainnet. And that probably has something to do with just the way that they want to do business. I have nothing against them for that. Kind of sucks though, because US customers can't get over here to Gate.io, all right, without probably using a VPN or something like that. But more importantly, the reason why it sucks is because look at these prices. I mean, they're selling these things for peanuts over there. I would love to buy some more Tezos at this price, and then to be able to have them liquid. You know, send them to a Tez box, get them into some delegation, things like that. I don't know how long that price is going to stick around. I don't want to be the harbinger of, you know, hysterical news and say that XTZ is going to go to, you know, a skyrocketing price, or that it's going to go to the ICO price. But I highly think it's, you know, I think it's highly unlikely that Tezos is going to dip back to the ICO price. And so if you're waiting on that, I mean, more power to you. But I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't sell my Tezos, okay, for $20 a piece, let alone this. And I know some guys with some pretty hefty wallets, and they're not selling it anytime soon. They're not selling the bulk of their Tezos anytime soon, especially for $1.88 when EOS is sitting at, what is it? What is EOS sitting at? Not trying to FUD EOS or anything like that, but you know, Tezos is a serious blockchain project. There was some serious innovation that went into this. All right, and they had a beta net. I mean, they had an alpha net and a zero net. They had an alpha net at the point of ICO. This project was conceived in 2014. Tezos is no scam coin. It's not a shit coin, as people put. This is a serious project. Hence the reason why it's made Wired magazine. Hence the reason why it raised $232 million in its ICO. And things like that. I'm not trying to glorify that or anything, but these things matter. These are facts. And I think sometimes in the crypto world, especially when you got the more popular YouTubers out there who have made their bread and butter from these boys right here, you tend to not get the correct information about new projects until it's too late, right? And so in my opinion, Tezos' real competitor is Cardano. But even then, though, Cardano is, you know, it's Charles Hoskinson. He's a Ethereum Classic original developer, and so they have an ERC20 tradable asset while they're working on these networks. Same thing with EOS, and so the ICO tokens, if you will, are liquid at the point of their ICO, or in the case of EOS, it was during the ICO. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that it is technologically more advanced than Tezos. Arguably, neither one of these are. Cardano being probably the closest. Just a matter of fact. Nonetheless, though, that's the difference between Tezos and its ICO versus their ICOs, is that they chose to associate their projects with an ERC20 asset that can be tradable until they launch their main nets. And that's basically just to satisfy investors during the time period, because software can take a long time. EOS ran into some fairly serious problems soon after launch. Hopefully they get it all worked out, but that's what, software takes time. These things are not, especially these types of projects, these are very ambitious and experimental and very in a very large sense. These projects take time, and so I think what EOS and Cardano wanted to do was provide their ICO stakeholders with a tradable asset while they build them their protocols. Not a bad idea, but now they're kind of associated. I had a buddy that called me up yesterday. He says, "Hey man, EOS is built on the Ethereum blockchain." No, it's not, but he thinks that because they have a ERC20 token, and now he wants nothing to do with EOS because he thinks that Ethereum is going to go down the tubes sometime soon, which I think is highly unlikely. Actually, very highly unlikely. But nonetheless, though, these are facts. Let's get back into it, right? So let's check out the TZ Scan Block Explorer. This is the official Block Explorer made by the dev team over in Paris. Okay, it's a nice one. I like it. Here's the ticker price for Tezos being pulled from Gate.io. It's pretty cool. It shows the total ICO supply that is out there. It shows what cycle you're in a 7-cycle period. We're not going to get into cycles because I don't have anything prepared for that. It can get quite confusing, but I'll upload this here, and this is a link to some of the documentation that explains blocks, delegations, cycles, and denunciations for you, and then do like a follow-up video or something like that explaining it in more detail. Can't explain a lot of this stuff because I like to run these videos from my terminal, okay? And right now, my only node that is operating is on Baker 1, okay? That's Baker 1, Baker 1. And the reason why that is because the Docker image, there isn't any good Docker documentation that has surfaced yet for me to be able to run the Betanet, okay? And so I actually compiled this from source locally, which is, it takes a lot more time to do this. It's fairly complicated, but not too complicated. It's basically just copying and pasting a bunch of code and understanding what understanding what the hell you're doing, for sure. Thanks to Mike Monahan at Crypto Delegate, I was able to do that. He hooked me up with and hooked me up with the documentation that I needed to do so, which he got from Fredsy, who is another Tezos enthusiastic type of guy, and he's on par with Stephen Andrews. So big shout out to both of those gentlemen. Thank you guys very much for getting Baker 1 up and running. And so with that being said, we're going to avoid cycles today, but let's go back over here to the Block Explorer. As you can see, it shows the highest, the latest block in the blockchain and the time in between those blocks. It shows the amount of Tezos that was transacted in that one block, along with the Baker, okay, of that block. Alrighty. What else we got here? And then alongside here, peer-to-peer transactions, okay? And so, this guy sent this dude some Tez. He's got 72,000, a total of 132,943 Tez. That's not bad when the ICO price was about, what, 48 cents? So 72,589 Tezos. I'm not going to do the math right now. But, that guy's doing pretty good. He's, almost 4 times right here, the ICO ratio at that point. And so that's not bad. Under this tab, we have stats. Well, let's look at blocks. So blocks show just, the list of blocks in more detail. It just gives you a different format to kind of look at what you just seen on that first page. I'm not going to go there, but baking rights. This is cool. So what this shows is it shows what bakers have the first, second, third, fourth, and so on priorities to bake that particular block. So if we go here, we see that 9072 is the latest block. It shows 9073 here. So this block hasn't been baked yet. And so what I'm expecting to happen is that TZ3, capital NE, is going to bake 9073. So I think that 9072 was about at 45 seconds when I went over there right now. So that block is probably already processed, and then this block has already been baked. So let's confirm that this dude, or this baker, TZ3, capital NE, baked 9073. So there's 9073, TZ3, capital NE. He baked that block. All right, so you can do this, and we can do this again, right? We can go back over to baking rights. We know that the latest block, or the current block, is 9073. All right, and 9074 is in the list. All right, it's next up to go in the oven and bake. And TZ3, capital RDC, should bake that block. Say a tree line hit his power, right? Knocked him offline. Well, he has so many. There's so much. I think it's there's a certain amount of time that goes by before the protocol says, okay, go to the next guy in the priority. He got ate by a shark, and he had a Raspberry Pi on him with Wi-Fi. He's out of the picture. Go to the next guy. So on and so forth. We can move on from that. We can look at, this is the operations tab. It basically just shows you what the home page shows you in more detail. You can view accounts, what kind of accounts they are. You can look at stats. You look at the network. You can see that there's 68 peers currently connected to a certain set of peers. All right, but in reality, there's about 307 peers. So what this means is 370 nodes. 370 nodes are currently connected to the network. Okay. You can look at the network's health. Should be at overall 99%. You can look at blocks per day. And what I used to like to look at was bakers per day to determine what kind of competition I have out there. You know what I mean? And even try to figure out who those guys are. Look at their wallet sizes. Go back over here to baking rights, right? Actually go to home. Say to yourself, oh, there's 2 days, 5 hours, and 10 minutes left in this particular cycle. Do a thorough search if you want, I guess. It's 160 pages, or 160 pages worth of trying to see if your baker has any priority. Okay? And I've done that before. But then again, though, the cycles and the Betanet and the AlphaNet were much shorter. So this one cycle would have been a couple hours and some change. In the beta and the main nets, every cycle is about 2 days, 20 hours, and 16 minutes. That turns into about a little bit, almost a month for a 7-cycle period. Okay? Again, we'll get into cycles another time in a follow-up video. The reason why I'm showing you the Block Explorer is because in Tezos, as a baker or as a staker, you can look around. You can look around and view the network, especially as a constituent, or especially as a person a delegee, somebody who is staking with a organization like My Crypto Delegate or Crypto Delegate, Tezos Community, XTez, or Tezigator if he comes back online. Hopefully he does. You can kind of look around and see who's got what. Are they going to be running out of staking power? For bakers, you can view, how many bakers per day. So you can get an idea of what kind of competition is out there. Can you play ball all the time? And things like that. You can look at the current role distribution. All right? And try to determine, who's got what, who's got the staking power, things like that. So it's a very important tool, not just for bakers, all right, and not just for and not just for stakers neither, or delegees or constituents, right? It's an important tool, even for just people who are spending sending peer-to-peer, peer-to-peer transactions. You know, you want to confirm that your transaction went through. There's an argument that went down between you and your next door neighbor. I sent you those, man. Boom. Bring out the block explorer. Where's your hash at? All that good stuff. That's what these things are. That's what a ledger is. That's what Bitcoin did. Right? It created a permanent, immutable, permissionless kind of system that maintains the integrity of not the blockchain itself, but all the transactions that went down, the history of the ledger, which can be a bad thing at sometimes, I guess, but overall it's a good thing. Okay, because it shows that Alice has this and Bob has that. Facts, man. Chase That Coin, one of our community members, he went over the Tezos wallet, okay, which is a MetaMask type wallet. For those who are familiar with MetaMask type wallets, he went over that in pretty much good detail. He did a really good video, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, okay? But this wallet was endorsed and is being funded by the Tezos Foundation. Stephen Andrews, who is quickly becoming Tezos's little Gavin Wood, developed this, and it's it's a light wallet. It's easy to use. You can get it from the Chrome extension. Right now, it's functioning as a web wallet, right? So, boom, you would create the Tez box. You're gonna copy and paste this stuff, obviously, right? Print it out. Do whatever you gotta do whatever you got to do. You're gonna re-enter the seed words, and you're gonna create the Tez box. Okay. So if you want to see more of that in detail, then head over to Chase That Coin on YouTube and watch his video today that he did on the Tez box. And I also have went over the Tez box in a lot of detail in previous videos, and those are on my channel. It's on my channel as well. Now, so BakeChain. This is another app. This is really cool because what this is going to do is enable everyday folks to be able to bake blocks, to be able to participate in the baking process, not the staking process, without the complexities of running a node, okay? Without getting all, without making sure you got the gigs of RAM, compiling the code or running through Docker, and all that good stuff, okay? So what this is an application that you can download, right? It's only available for Windows at the moment. I'm actually running it on my work computer. It's only available for Windows at this time. It hasn't been, I haven't seen any audits done on it yet or anything like this, and this is, I don't think it's ready yet. But this is coming in the pipeline, and what this is going to do is encourage a lot more folks to bake on their own. Okay? This is really, really cool. Because when you delegate to yourself, you make more. When you stake, you make a percentage of what whatever your delegate agrees upon. God bless their souls. I would still rather delegate myself. I would still rather bake myself, right? But what if I don't know how to set up a node? What if I don't want to do that? What if it's too complex for me? I understand that. This stuff can be pretty complex. So what BakeChain does is it provides you with an easy-to-use app and an easy-to-understand user interface. All right? Let's read some of this stuff. Simple, no complications. Easiest way to bake blocks without having to run, without having to work with complex command lines and camels. Decentralized, your own private keys, which never hit our servers. Very important. That's awesome. All of our back-end DB data can be audited and verified. Secure. Private keys are encrypted and stored natively within your computer's secure key store. Make sure you know what that means. Rewarding. Become a delegate, earn a little more, and help those who can't bake to participate in the baking process. Become a delegate. So you're baking blocks. When you're if I downloaded the BakeChain, right, and I funded this wallet with 120,000 Tez, 5 million Tez, I'm going to bake a lot of blocks. Every block I bake, I make, what, 15 to 16 XTZ? Every block I endorse, I make 2 XTZ. Put that in perspective. Look at this baker. This baker right here, right? He has 8,918 endorsements, 1,110 bakings, 1,110 times 16 or 15 or 16 Tez. No power, no series power being used, right? It doesn't take a mining farm to do this, right? Crazy. Now you're telling me that I can use something like BakeChain, a simple app, to be able to bake blocks? Oh, and not only that, but then I can become a delegate using the BakeChain? So I don't have to run the complexities of a node. All my private keys are stored locally. I'm not running a node, right? I'm using an app that is very simple to use, right? And I'm baking blocks. I'm receiving the highest amount of Tez that you can receive for participating in the delegated proof of stake system in Tezos. Most people are delegating at this point. Most people are going to delegate until stuff like this becomes accessible. What the BakeChain does is it enables anybody, anywhere, to simply download an app, load that particular baker with as many Tez as you want. The more Tez you load, the more Tez you put into that baker, the more you're going to bake, the more you're going to stake, okay? But then you can also become a delegate just, through using this app without running a node. That is huge. That is huge. Arthur did a video yesterday, and he was really excited about, all of the participation that's happening in the network, all the delegations that's going down. It can all be viewed on tzscan.io. Some of these some of these folks that are delegating could easily be staking. Some of these guys are delegating to delegation services that have 30,000 Tez. That's 3 roles. You can be delegating those to yourself. And every time baking blocks yourself and endorsing blocks yourself. When you're not baking, you're endorsing. Every block has to have 32 signatures. Think about it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take a Bitcoin mining farm to do this. Very small amounts of computational power are involved in validating a block. Because the stake provides the security. The stake provides what is necessary to validate the block, to be able to bake the block, and all this, and all of the same stuff that happens in Bitcoin and Ethereum, where you use hashing power and guys compete to basically solve puzzles and mine the next block. The same thing happens in Tezos. It's just that the computation of power, or the GPU power, is the tokens themselves. Amazing. And it's a smart contracts platform, Tezos.
Yeah, so that's what I had for you guys. It's daytime now. Last night something went haywire with my my program, and so I just decided to wait till the morning to kind of wrap up yesterday's Betanet talk. All right. And so with that being said, I'll upload all the links at the bottom of this video and look forward to another one coming very soon. Have a wonderful day, guys.
It gave us the governance and got rid of the stubbornness that can split a community, turning the shit into multiple governments. It can formally verify any code you can dig about. Any code, see a bug, take it down. When it comes to the code, yeah, the fight be bout for bout. Tezos called a win and came about. Now they wanna know when the token out. We'll never know grandma's recipe. Grandma's recipe. Grandma rest in peace. Now if you baking, keep baking. Can't run the node, don't trip, you can stake it. They thought that we was fried up, but now we baking the bacon. Tezos is coming, promoting and popping that decentralization. Pump it. Decentralization. They pump and promoting decentralization. Pump it. Decentralization. Pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it. Decentralization. They pump and promoting decentralization. Pump it. They pump and promoting decentralization. government? Say, what about the government? What about the government? What about the government? Hey, I speak for peasants and farmers in places where money don't come up due to the centralization by money and powerful basing and cronies. I'm with a crypto army. No, you cannot disarm me. Tezos is coming, promoting decentralization. They came with the army. Hey, when it comes to the code, yeah, the fight be bout for bout. Tezos called a win and came about. Now they wanna know when the token now. When that we'll never know grandma's recipe. Grandma's recipe. Grandma's recipe. That recipe. Grandma rest in peace. Hey, now if you baking, keep baking. Can't run the node, don't trip, you can stake it. They thought that we was fried up, but now we baking the bacon. Tezos is coming, promoting and popping that decentralization. Pump it, decentralization. They pump and promoting decentralization. Pump it, decentralization.